Gavon and friends, welcome to a very special episode of the Lord of the Wrongs podcast, the only Tolkien podcast the professor himself would dismiss as juvenile and crass. I'm Dan Zerby. I'm here as always with my good friend and co-host Sean Kelly, and together we will be discussing the news, writings, adaptations, games, anything else relating to J.R.R. Tolkien's Legendarium in a way the professor would not really appreciate. Or at least normally we would do that, but today we have a special episode. Welcome
Happy
to
Hobbit
our
Day.
Happy Hobbit Day. We are recording our Hobbit Day special, Frodo and Bilbo's birthday bonus episode. Did you like the alliteration, Sean?
I did. And anytime you can include a little cheeky alliteration, it's a bit of an homage.
It's easy and it's always satisfying to hear and to say.
Well, welcome.
Yeah.
Winners. We figured we'd just do a little bit of a special episode outside of the norm here. Not that there has been much of a norm yet.
No, yeah. I was going to say, we've done quite a few specials actually by now. So
yeah, it's honestly, they're all special.
They are all special.
Before.
But none of them are quite as special as this one because this is a bonus episode. You lucky bastards. Getting 2 episodes this week. Yeah.
Well, this isn't the only thing you had prepared for a Hobbit Day, Zerb.
No, it wasn't just smart-assy comments and stuff. Yeah.
No, I heard you're cooking yourself up a bit of a Hobbity feast.
Yes, I am. So, for those of you who are totally unfamiliar with Hobbit Day, it is, well, today it's the day being released, but it's not the day we're recording it, but it's the 22nd of September, which is Bilbo and Frodo's birthday. So that's why Hobbit Day is the 22nd of September. And I have decided this year to celebrate by going all out and watching all 3 extended editions Lord of the Rings in one day, while also creating an obscene amount of food to consume while doing that.
It sounded like a lot, and you didn't even give me the full list before.
Yeah, it's okay. So I am doing all... Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all 7 Hobbit meals.
Oh my,
yeah.
It's eating like a Hobbit is a challenge.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be stuffing myself stupid. I was telling my girlfriend looked at the menu I had ready to go, and she's just like, you need to be doing like small portions if you want to be able to eat all this, right? And I was like, yes, I'm well aware of that. I don't think full Hobbit portions are going to work. So would you like to hear my menu, Sean?
Sure, absolutely.
Good, because I'm going to say it anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, whether I wanted to or not, but let's hear it.
Right. All right, so for breakfast, one might call it first breakfast, we're going to go with the standard scrambled eggs, bacon, and toast with butter with some Irish breakfast tea to start.
Okay, classic.
I mean, eggs, bacon, and toast is mentioned many times in The Hobbit. Second breakfast, I'm going to be doing fruit salad with strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, some berry salad, and also some English coastal cheddar with crackers.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's simple, but elegant.
It is, right? 11Z's is going to be some sort of pastry. I haven't decided for sure. Maybe some biscotti, or I'm thinking of making I've made before a version of lembas, which is really just shortbread.
Yeah, I've made quote unquote lembas before, and I mean it's good. It's just shortbread. You can't can't go wrong with it. But
it's tasty and it keeps for a very, very, very long time. So yeah, maybe some pies, some biscotti, maybe some shortbread for 11Z's. Then afternoon luncheon, I decided to go a little lighter with some mixed green salad with toasted walnuts, pears, and some more English coastal cheddar. I think that'll be a really tasty salad.
Wow, you're hitting the cheddar early. I respect the confidence.
I am, yeah. Well, yeah. And we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you gotta You gotta have the salad in the middle there just to give
I
yourself a breather.
a little bit of roughage, yeah, to push everything through. Is something my mother would say.
She sounds
She's a character,
interesting.
that lady.
Yeah.
She's pretty great. Then the next meal would be afternoon tea. I'll be doing some Palm Court, which is just a blend from my favorite tea maker. I'll shout it out. Harney and Sons. They're relatively local. They're about an hour away from where I live in New York, and they have great tea there. And maybe they'll give us money afterwards, but if not, they're very tasty. I recommend it.
Yes,
and that will be accompanied with some of a seed cake with preserves. I'm not sure which kind yet. Probably strawberry. It's my favorite.
You have so much prepared already, and this is wait. This is afternoon luncheon, or
that's just afternoon tea. Yeah,
afternoon
that's
tea.
around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
Tea, yeah. Then, yeah, I know it's like it's so much. I'm gonna pop by the end of this day. I'm gonna fall asleep if nothing else before the end of the Return of the King.
You have to make it through, yeah.
Yeah. So then we have dinner, and I'll be making Stam's coney stew. I'll be doing it in a crock pot. I will be including taters.
Where do you even get coney?
Well, I was going to see if your former employer right down the road from me is going to have that. They do have some weird meat at their butcher counter, so I'll see if I can find some. And if not, I'll probably just use like chicken thighs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rabbit pretty much tastes like chicken, except leaner.
Still in the spirit, yeah, a little gamier.
Yeah, still in the spirit. And that'll be a crock pot thing. That'll be easy. I can do that the night before.
Yeah.
And then that leaves supper, which I was like, what can I do here? Because I don't want to do another full entree.
Yeah,
I want to end my evening with something a little bit lighter. So I decided to do a seltzer and peach juice mocktail, since I don't actually drink alcohol anymore. And filled oven pears. So it's going to be pears stuffed with like nuts and dried fruit and stuff like that, baked.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's going to be. That's the thing I'm most excited for. Actually, I think that's going to be really good.
But there's more, I assume, right?
No, that is the last meal. Supper is the last meal.
Supper.
Yeah. So I got some of these recipes and ideas. I have two like Tolkien Middle Earth related cookbooks that are both like unofficial, and they do have some great recipes in there. And then some of them are just really like not at all related to Middle Earth or the Legendarium, but they have names that connect it to it. Like my favorite is like Baron's potato bread. It's like where's that coming from?
I don't remember that being mentioned in the Silmarillion, but
I was gonna say I don't. That's not. Yeah, there's like Mirkwood bat wings, which is just chicken wings and stuff. So there's some dumb, goofy stuff. I like probably excellent recipes, but like really, like they had to go out of their way to try to connect it to Tolkien.
They were like, okay, we covered the like 5 food items mentioned in the books. What do we do now?
Right. Yeah, that was exactly. It's like we have to fill a whole cookbook, so we have to come up with something.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a lovely day you have planned for yourself. It's
going to be a little challenging, I think.
It's more. I feel like
a lot of prep.
Thanksgiving is more of a sprint, where this sounds like a marathon.
Yeah, this is going to be a marathon. The day before is like all food prep, shopping, and mostly drinking water to expand my stomach, so I'll be able to fit all this shit inside me.
Yeah, you gotta go full Kobayashi tactics if you're gonna eat like a hobbit.
Yeah.
Like what's the guy now?
Joey Chestnut,
Dirty Joe, or
Dirty Joe. Yeah. Ugh, those hot dog competitions are disgusting.
Yeah, hard to watch, as I'm sure your girlfriend
and we're both
will
Americans. Yeah, we're both Americans. It's and we both find that hard to watch. So
besides just listing off Zerby's
Gluttony?
Ambitious, eating habits and plans. We actually did prepare something else for this special episode today.
Did. This was actually Sean's idea. Credit to Sean. Good job,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you want to introduce this?
Yeah, so we basically there's I believe there are a few different versions of this, but there are fan edits, as we, I believe, mentioned at least once before on the podcast, of the Hobbit movies that combine them into one movie. And we decided to watch it, one of them. Excuse me. And
just the one,
yeah. And this was an edit by Dustin Lee. Yes. And it just combines all 3 Hobbit movies, which combined are probably, around 9 hours, something like that. Probably a little less, but still.
Well, with the extended versions of those movies, it's even longer, but
combines them all into a 4-hour and I think 4-hour 20-minute long, something like that, movie that cuts out a lot of the weirdness and cruft, and it does what it can,
right? But it does what it can to bring it as close as possible to the book.
And before you question, I'll answer the question that's in your head. Yes, it's all perfectly legal if you own the Hobbit movies already.
Yes. It is. Yeah,
it's all cool.
Yeah, I was going to say is that's something we should make very clear. It is not legal for you to download this film if you do not legally own copies of all 3 Hobbit films. It is the only way. You have to buy those movies to watch this fan edit.
They're worth watching, I would say.
I would say it's worth giving a shot. Yeah, it's I mean, you want to get into it?
You've probably seen them already if you're listening to this, but
yeah, likely. Whether you love them or you absolutely hate them.
And I think
you've probably seen them
somewhere in between.
Yeah. I'll say just overall to start, I would say that this fan edit really shows it to me. It really highlighted the things that were done well and highlighted how poorly done the things that were poorly done are.
Yeah, it's something I noted overall. Just getting into it, I guess. The first movie. So there were the 3 movies. Unexpected Journey.
Unexpected Journey.
The Desolation of Smaug and the Battle of the 5 Armies.
Right.
So the first movie seemed like it was barely cut at all.
Yeah, I think one of the few things that I saw got cut, they really de-emphasized Azog chasing after the dwarves.
Yeah, I think they cut
it's not in the book, so and Azog's dead in the book, so
yeah. For those who don't know, Azog the Defiler fought against the dwarves in this war a number of years before the events of the Hobbit.
At the Battle of Moria, yes.
Yeah, so there was a whole crusade basically by the dwarves to eradicate all the orcs afterwards in the mountains and the Misty Mountains, and then up in the Gray Mountains. Yeah.
Yes.
And Azog died, and then his son Bolg was the one who was kind of running things during the Hobbit, but in the movies they just have both of them. So I think he just sort of de-emphasized Azog's backstory and stuff like that.
Yeah. I would also point out, this is not related to this fan edit, but Azog the Defiler, that title is not in The Hobbit, the book. That's something they made up for the movie, but I'm not criticizing it. I think it's pretty badass.
I mean, certainly it's a good pseudonym.
It's a hell of a moniker.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, you want to just kind of get into?
Sure, yeah. I was actually kind of surprised watching this fan edit that they kept the frame narrative from the movie where it's Ian Holmes Bilbo writing the Red Book of Westmarch. Not that I didn't have a problem with it. I think it worked just fine. I'm glad they cut out some of the interactions with Frodo that was like kind of fan servicey. It's like, remember Lord of the Rings and how much you guys love that? You know?
Yeah, no, I liked it because it was just a brief
Yeah.
moment at the beginning and end to frame the narrative, which is the kind of the point
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
a
I think
frame
if they
narrative.
jumped into that scene where Gandalf comes and talks to Bilbo while he's smoking on his front porch, I think that would be it would have just been jarring. It would have been a weird way to just get into the movie. So yeah,
Yeah,
they needed
I-
to have some kind of introduction. I think it worked.
and overall, that just didn't bother me in the movies, the original ones either.
Yeah.
Just because it's it is the frame
Yeah.
that is how it works in the stories. It's just not
Right.
in the
Yeah,
Hobbit
it's just
itself.
right. Yeah. But it is still like the frame narrative. I mean, it was retconned by Tolkien once he wrote Lord of the Rings, but
Yeah.
still, yeah, it's still part of that.
I will say early on, I did like how much, and he kind of maintained this throughout. I think he kept pretty much all of the goofy moments of the dwarves,
Yes.
which is great.
Yeah.
That's kind of it's in the spirit of the book.
Yeah, that's the tone the book takes. I think one of the things I've had an issue with, I've heard lots of people have this issue with the Hobbit films, is like the tone was all over the place. Like you had the silly, fun song. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates when they're cleaning up in Bag End. But then
Yeah.
you later have like Sauron in it, which is like, what are you doing? I thought this was supposed to be a fun romp.
Yeah, and then,
that's the tone was all over the place. So
and there's a certain musical cue whenever Thorin starts being stoic and broody that just
yeah,
you're just gonna be uncomfortable.
yeah,
But I will say that in the edit, he cut out a lot of the. I mean, there's certain things that he just couldn't cut out for story and because
right,
it is important to the plot. And
yeah,
Thorin is not. He's not as jovial as the other dwarves. He's just not
no,
quite as severe as he is in the movie.
yeah,
I would
yeah. They
say
made him a lot more.
he's
Severe is a
haughty
good word. Yeah,
as opposed to severe.
yeah, to a
So,
degree. Yeah, yeah.
um,
But yeah, I would
but
say, yeah,
mhm.
streamlining, like especially the part of this fan edit that's just the first movie. I found that the way it was really tightened up and I wouldn't say stripped down, but definitely tightened up a lot. And it doesn't drag as much as like sometimes I'm in the mood to watch the Hobbit movies, even with all the issues I have, because like yeah, maybe it's even if you think it's crap, total crap, which I wouldn't say it's total crap at all. It's like it's still Tolkien flavored, and sometimes you're in the mood, you know. But I've found that watching this fan edit, it doesn't drag. Like it does feel like some parts of the Jackson cut of everything,
Especially like the early
just a
second
lot of both.
movie. I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
certain parts. Yeah, they really feel like. And at the end, which I'm sure we'll revisit later, but like
yeah.
all the Thorin madness, it just feels like it took so much screen time. Just like they
Yeah, it
were
really did.
like trying to get to 5,000 words in an essay or something. It was like,
Yeah, it did kind of feel like that. It's like, okay, we get it.
yeah, like it doesn't need to. This movie doesn't need to be fucking 2 hours and 45 minutes long just
Do we have
because.
to have a 15-minute segment of just Thorin hallucinating?
Yeah,
It's like it's taking Dragon sickness to a much crazier level than it was in the books. It's just
yeah,
like, oh yeah, it's greed comes out is really all it is in the books. It's his greed is overcoming him, but he's like tripping in the movie.
yeah.
He's like, dude, did
But
you take mushrooms? Why are you? What the hell is happening here? Anyway,
yeah, he was on that dragon dro.
Yeah.
But I mean, I will say it was nice watching this because you were less distracted by some of the bad writing.
Yeah,
You were able to appreciate the performances more because I think
definitely.
pretty much across the board, everybody killed it.
Yeah, I mean, like the acting was not the problem with any of
No,
this, you know.
I will say on that note, one bummer is Tariel was pretty much entirely cut from the
I,
movies.
that's exactly one of the things I was going to say. I was surprised by the fact that I actually missed her character being in it.
But
And
so much of her story was tied in with the love story
well,
thing.
that's what I was going to say. It's like it really goes to show like I think it was good that they added a female character. There's zero female characters in the book. I mean, the only one that's even mentioned I think is Bilbo's mother.
Yeah,
And she's not in it.
and Lobelia at
Uh
the
and
end.
Amelia at the end, yeah. But yeah, I was like, it just goes to show like it was kind of useless to add this female character because it was just for the romantic subplot that just didn't work. Because Toriel is the captain of the guard.
Yeah,
Like,
she's like a captain of the Rangers in
yeah, and
Mirkwood. Like
yeah,
she was badass. She was
yeah,
awesome. But if so much of her plot and character arc relied on her falling in love with a dwarf, it's like okay,
yeah,
I'd rather just not have it at all.
yeah. It just, yeah, it was better that that storyline would have been cut, but they didn't need to cut that character. Well, like again, if they were, I just wish they had done that character that she had been more than just like a romantic foil for
Yeah, in the
whatever.
original
Yeah,
movies,
yeah,
yeah, because it would have just been too much work to like try to pick apart scene, and it would have just added
yeah,
unnecessary time to an already
yeah,
4 hour plus long
yeah,
movie.
yeah, absolutely, yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean they cut out Tariel, they cut out Legolas's scenes almost entirely, which I
most
was
of them, yeah,
yeah, seeing him in that context where he's just with his father, like
yeah.
in Mirkwood, it I was fine with him being there actually.
Yeah, I mean, he's Orlando Bloom is gorgeous, and you know,
He would have been there, you know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he would have been there, and
And
this
with
version of the movie makes it more believable. Like seeing Legolas is like, oh, okay, that makes sense to see him in this
it's more
context
like
as
a
opposed to the original.
cameo than
Right? Yeah.
feeling like fan servicey screen
Exactly.
unnecessary screen time.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I think one of the problems with the Hobbit movies is that even though it's Lord of the Rings is the sequel to the Hobbit, but they made these movies like the prequel to the Lord of the Rings,
Yeah,
and
even though it's pretty
yeah,
much unrelated. It's like connected by threads and all that, and a few
right.
characters, but it's a very separate story.
Yeah, yeah, it really is with a totally different tone, which is why, yeah, it was kind of hard to watch the original. But again, we're not here to overly critique the Hobbit films. We're here to talk about the fan edit.
I am too.
I will say I was surprised. I didn't even notice that the whole thing, like that Radagast, was cut until like the second movie would have started. I didn't even think about it,
Yeah,
which
no,
just goes to show how useless that was.
I just wish they had made him less of a bumbling idiot. Like
Yeah,
he's one of the wise, you know. He's in
yeah,
the White Council.
yeah, and he would have been like kind of a weird, wacky guy as wizards go, but like I like Sylvester McCoy as an actor. I think he's very talented, but yeah, it's like he had poop on his head the whole movie.
Yeah, he was just
Like,
like
literally doing Radagast dirty.
yeah, it was just too much, and I didn't. I mean, they cut all of the White Council stuff and
Yeah,
everything,
necromancer
so
thing. Yeah,
which I liked some parts of that, but it once again it wasn't in the book. It wasn't necessary, and it was just
yeah,
another seemed like another way to inflate screen time, especially
yeah,
with like a full 45-second long trippy Sauron spirit attack thing that was just
Yeah,
just
it was.
I guess in there to make epileptics not able to watch the movie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they were like, okay, how can we bring back Christopher Lee and Kate Blanchett? Like, how can we bring them back
Yeah, and like
again?
I mean, the
Yeah,
White Council, it happens then, and I mean, if they are making 3 movies, I'm okay with it, I guess. But
yeah. It was just a little like
it
that
was
fight scene where they drive the necromancer that we know to be Sauron from Mirkwood. It's just a lot. It just
yeah,
it was just like watching it was like this should be more fun to watch, but it's just kind of not.
yeah. It,
Yeah.
it was once again a case of like just taking the taking the movie too seriously. I feel like the
Yeah.
movies just took
Yeah.
themselves too seriously.
Yeah, I just wish they had focused on again, it's called The Hobbit, and they really should have just focused on The Hobbit for the most part.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all told from Bilbo's point of view. When you're reading the book, the narrator goes out of his way to tell you, okay, so Bilbo is knocked out. Here's what happened while he was unconscious. And that only
yeah,
happens at the end. The focus is on Bilbo, the Hobbit of the Hobbit.
yeah. It,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
should have been more from his point of view, but in this
yeah,
case, it mostly was.
yeah, yeah,
I will
yeah.
say, glad they kept in pretty much the entire Smeagol or Gollum encounter
Oh yeah,
part.
the Riddles in the Dark is. The movie
You,
version of that chapter is excellently done. I was really happy with that. Yeah.
yeah. I did have a note here. If Baggins loses, we eats it whole.
Mhm.
I'm just glad that Gollum was able to pluralize the right words there and not if
Yeah.
Baggins loses, we eat its whole.
Thank God for that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been under the ground for a long time. I'm glad he didn't lose all of his social graces.
Oh God.
And I did want to just,
Yeah.
while we're here, did want to just say Bilbo cheated. Um,
Well,
and
yeah. Well, it's one of my favorite parts of the prologue in Lord of the Rings concerning hobbits, where
yeah,
it's mentioned like,
it's like
strictly
generally agreed.
speaking, this wasn't totally fair, but everybody does agree that once Gollum accepted the terms of three guesses, that became fair, even though it's not a riddle. Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm trying to
But yeah,
think.
he
Oh,
kind of cheated, but again, it was Gollum's fault that he allowed. He agreed to the three guesses of what's
yeah,
in
yeah,
his
no,
nasty little pockets is.
it became
So
fair.
yeah.
uh, all right, back to the edit sort of specific
Yeah.
stuff here. Um, I will say it was a bummer to see, and you went back and watched this scene, but the
Yes.
Bayorn stuff get cut out.
Yeah, I love Beorn as a character, and I didn't totally love the way he was written in the movies. I feel like he could have been a little more. He was he was a little more personable even in the book.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, he was just he seemed too like rough and gruff,
he,
and
which he is in the book, but he also like has a sense of humor that's made very clear
he
in
has
the
a sense
book,
of humor and a
and they
little
cut that
bit of
from the movie. Yeah.
um, like some
He,
manners and stuff
yes.
in the
Yeah.
book.
It's like, yeah, he says like he was never very polite, which implies that he's a little polite, and I don't feel like he was a little polite at all in the movie.
Yeah, but they basically in the edit he plays the audio of Gandalf explaining uh
Yes.
that they need to like that they can go to the house like as they show like an
Yeah,
overarching travel scene.
as the eagles are flying them from the Misty Mountains to the Karok. Yeah, it's
And
Gandalf's voiceover, which worked actually fairly
it
well.
it did work, but then
It was
they
a
just completely skipped them going into the house. They're just asleep in it.
Yeah. In the original cut, they are being chased by Beorn in bear form into his house, and then they fall asleep. And then the next morning, there's the scene where Gandalf introduces Bilbo and the dwarves to Beorn. In the book, that happens first. They just come up to Beorn's house and they're like, "Hi." um, but yeah, so for some reason they cut the scene where Gandalf introduces the dwarves. Now, I was wondering why that is because rewatching the scene, I was wondering like, okay, maybe they say something that like makes the continuity not work with like this cut of the film. They could have left it in. I rewatched that scene and they could have left it in. Now maybe it's because it was longer in the extended version. I'm not sure. But yeah, they cut that scene and they could have easily kept it in. It didn't have
I
anything
feel
that would have not worked.
I wonder if they could have even added it first to make it more you know what I mean?
Well,
Like
they couldn't
reverse
have
it.
yeah, they couldn't have made it in the right in the same order as the books because of the way Gandalf's like, "Oh, we just wanted to thank you for your hospitality," is what he says.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so like they would have had to do it in the order that they did it in the movie, but they still could have kept that scene. Even
I
though it
mean,
wasn't true to the way it was in the book, where Gandalf's like introducing the dwarves slowly as he's telling their story to keep Beorn interested. It's
yeah,
not like
because
that,
he
but they
doesn't
still could have
before.
kept the scene.
I would say I would. My guess is he cut it because for time and because it was inaccurate.
Yeah,
So
that's my guess. But I
he
will
just
say it
rushed
made
through
that
it.
part very, very clunky
It
to
did.
me.
That was maybe the most clear that
Yeah,
you
like
saw the hand of the edit,
yeah,
basically.
like it's like oh, you could tell watching it. It's like oh, this got hacked up. Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
yeah.
but at the end of the day, it also it was so fast that you're able to move on from it pretty quickly.
Yeah, but I will say cutting that much of Beorn's screen time really, really lessens the impact when he shows up at the Battle of Five Armies later. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I didn't think he even cared that much.
Yeah, he was just like some guy who let them borrow horses,
Yeah, I mean, if
gave them milk.
yeah, yeah, it's like you guys want some honey. All right, bye. I mean, that was like kind of it. Yeah. So that was a little disappointing. I mean, I really wish. Again, this has nothing to do with the fan edit that we watched, but I really wish they had shown the part in the book where Beorn goes out and talks to a warg and an orc, gets information from them, and then kills them, and puts the orc head on a stake on his property and nails the pelt of the warg to a tree.
Yeah, that would have been a
Like,
little more hardcore and a little more
I mean, they could have done it in a less, in a like still
well,
like
I mean
more
that was kind of
PG
the
way.
vibe of the movie though. It was kind
Yeah,
of it's definitely a little it was not
yeah,
PG. The
yeah. No, it was definitely PG-13, and the extended edition, Battle of the Five Armies, was ludicrous because there was so much blood and gore, which
yeah,
is, you
it's a
know,
little strange.
again, yeah. I mean, it's not something that I would generally mind personally, but it just didn't fit in the movie. To me, it didn't fit. It was out of place. Again, that's in the extended edition. In the theatrical release version, it's not.
Not quite so egregious.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. It doesn't have almost any blood at all, even though the blood is black because it's orc and troll blood and stuff. But
I
anyway,
will say so watching all the movies back, not only did I appreciate the characters a lot, but I also appreciated the set designs a lot because I don't know why I hadn't
yeah,
really noticed how great they were, but like Lake Town,
yeah.
uh,
I mean, Lake Town
Erebor,
looks so much like Tolkien's illustration of it.
yeah,
Yeah, they did a very good job designing Lake Town and Dale for that matter too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but as far as are there any other like edit parts we want to touch on before the dragon?
Before Smaug, I think that covers everything that I had that happens before that.
Oh, so as they're going to the dragon, one thing I thought he did really well, when they went up to the door, did you
Oh yeah, when he
notice?
recut that scene, that was very well done. That was so much
Yeah,
closer to the book, and yeah, I didn't think they were going to pull that off with the editing. Honestly, I was like, "Ooh, this
yeah,
is going to be
it
choppy,"
worked
but it
so
wasn't. It
well.
wasn't choppy.
So in the movies, this is just strange, just as like a film that I don't know. They they basically can't find the door, and they can't bust it open with Maddox within like
Yeah,
3 minutes, and so they just fully give up and leave.
I know they just start to walk away, and I'm like, "That's." It's like, all right, well, we tried. See ya.
It's like, all right, well, we
I
just
guess
journeyed
Smaug wins this one too.
hundreds of miles, and we're just gonna give up our birthright here because
Yeah,
yeah, fuck
yeah,
it.
it was.
This door, I can't find the door handle.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
mean, Bilbo is yeah, yeah.
he edited
Anyway,
it basically where the Bilbo. I mean, it was pretty smooth where
it
Bilbo,
was
like the moonlight shone on the
yeah.
keyhole. Bilbo turned around and looked
When
at
the
it,
yeah, when the thrush knocks, he kept that in there. Yeah,
and then immediately after that, Thorin is just has the key and he's opening the door. So it like he cut
and
out the weirdness and kept that in. So that I
yeah,
thought that was well done.
and almost dropping the key, and Thorin happens to save it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that
I
part
know.
too.
Yeah, they just well, that was the thing. It's like that was one of the things. Like you didn't need to edit. You didn't need to add more drama to that scene. It was fine.
Yeah,
Like again.
it's
Um,
already the
yeah,
circumstances themselves are traumatic enough.
yeah,
So the dragon, I mean, they didn't.
yeah,
Luckily, once again, one of my favorite scenes, him talking to Smaug.
yeah. The conversation with Smaug is one of the best scenes in the book for sure. Um,
So
and it
they,
was pretty good even in the original movie. I was
yeah, I thought
more
it
or
was.
less happy with it. Yeah.
And once again, Benedict Cumberbatch. We're both Cumberbitches on this program. Uh, he
Yeah.
did a fantastic job.
Yeah, he did a great job. Just the voice that he did, if nothing else. I mean, I know they did mocap for him, and
Yeah, seeing
I
him
do.
do that was super weird.
It's so fun. If you guys have not seen Benedict Cumberbatch in his motion capture suit playing Smaug, like just in this, with the microphone on his head and like the dots on his face and the gray bodysuit and stuff, just wriggling around on the floor. Look it up. It is a delight. It is very
Yeah,
funny.
it's great, but I mean,
Yeah.
it worked. He did a
It did.
fantastic
It
job.
did. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
The
He was
part
also the voice of the Necromancer, which was cut out of
oh, I
this
forgot about
edition.
that.
But yeah, he was the voice of the Necromancer slash Sauron, which
He's
the
got a
voice
good
was
voice
fine.
for it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
But they did cut the uh they didn't cut all of the dwarves running from Smaug, but they cut the weird parts of them fighting him, like dropping the big
yeah,
golden statue on him and
yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah. They cut a lot of that, which yeah,
The
made sense.
only
It was closer
major
to the book.
the only major continuity error that I noticed, it was definitely it
Right.
was the worst continuity, was him being covered in gold when he flew out of the doors,
To
which was
destroy
like,
Lake Town. Yeah, yeah. You see
yeah.
him go up into the air and shimmer all the gold off of him, and in this cut, it's like, well, what the hell was that?
I mean, it was a cool shot,
It was a
but
very cool shot. Yeah, it was just kind of
the
goofy that they did that in the first place.
yeah, I was gonna say the shots leading up to that shot were just not worth the. It was the wrong kind
It
of
wasn't.
goofy. The dwarves are.
Yeah.
It wasn't whimsical. It was like, what? How would that even? Just looks.
Yeah, that felt like the first time you watched one of the diehards where John McClane stopped being a regular person and started being like a giant action hero.
Yeah,
And it just wasn't as relatable or enjoyable.
Yeah, pretty much after Die Hard 1.
Yeah, well, Die Hard 2 and Die Hard 3, he's like a normal person. But yeah,
Die Hard 2, yeah.
yeah,
I don't remember
and
Die Hard 3.
with a Vengeance, oh, it's arguably as good as the first one. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Die Hard, although I could. I do love Die
We'll
Hard.
circle back. We'll do a Die Hard special for Christmas.
Yeah, we'll compare all Lord of the Rings with the Die Hard movies for some reason.
Hang on, I gotta make a note of that real quick.
I don't think that would even be good. I don't think we could even possibly make that good.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway,
yeah. What else you got? Because I got overall things at this point.
They cut the worms, which was good.
Oh yeah, I mean, in the book, Bilbo, when he when I think it's, I mean, Thorin says it in the movie. I don't remember. I think it's actually a different dwarf says it in the book, but says he looks more like a grocer than a burglar. And Bilbo's talking like, if I have to fight the giant wereworms of blah 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 blah, and they ended up putting giant worms in the Battle of the Five Armies, which was not in the book, and also is a little out there. So I'm glad that they cut that. I didn't care for that. I thought it was way too much.
It's one of those things where it's like, if you have to stretch that much and take one line from the book and then add it into somewhere, like, I'm pretty sure Tolkien would have mentioned worms if they were at the Battle of the Five Armies.
Yeah, giant graboids.
Yeah. Wait, is that from Tremors?
It was. That was a Tremors reference.
Yeah. that was good. Yeah.
I love Tremors.
Shout out Tremors. Weirdly, I know you do. I don't. I guess you love Tremors enough where I already knew that, which is impressive.
I've seen all of them more than once, and
wow, aren't there like 9?
I think there's only like 6 of them.
I distinctly remember there being a 7.
Maybe there are. Maybe there's 7.
Well, okay. Once again,
anyway, yeah. Once Jamie Kennedy entered the franchise, it kind of went off the rails. So.
Once again, we're sidetracked by a series of movies with like 7 installments. Do you want to talk about Fast and Furious or?
I never saw past Tokyo Drift, so I can't really comment.
Okay, well, you stopped at a good place.
I think I went too far, honestly.
So overall comments. What did you think?
I think this fan edit, I did enjoy it. I think I would really enjoy rewatching this fan edit more than rewatching even the theatrical cut, let alone the extended editions. It just doesn't drag as much. I think a rewatch would make it a lot more digestible, not only because of the reduced the time that it takes to get through the whole thing, but just the way it flows. It just like the pacing's a lot faster.
I mean, overall, I would say there was plenty of stuff that was still in there that was questionable, I guess. Like, I still
certainly, yeah.
I did make a note of Gandalf using the moth to call the eagles. Just things like that, where it's like just things that are against the spirit of how luck is so important.
Thank you. Yeah, I was about to say
in
that
the
same
Hobbit.
Thing. Yeah, luck is such a major theme.
And also, behind the scenes, how that's Iluvatar exerting his will on the world, basically.
Right? Yeah, that is the hand of Edu out there, just making sure that things happen.
Yeah. But so overall, I would say I would probably rather rewatch this, but more than anything, it just made me sad that if they had basically if this movie didn't have some of the awkward cuts and continuity errors and things like that, and certain scenes were just written a little more true to the book that were in there, I feel like we could have had something really great and like,
Yeah.
have it just be more whimsical, have it be more its own movie. I'm fine with
Yeah.
Legolas getting thrown in there in a cameo.
Sure.
I'm fine with, obviously having Ian McKellen back is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Always. Yeah, definitely.
Uh, Even, having Hugo Weaving, just all of that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we kind of got this is a step in the right direction, but it's
Yeah. But there's
you
only
a
so much you
time
could do.
machine is the only way
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
all the way there.
I will say another thing overall that I noticed. I found it interesting how cutting up and reassembling these films show how different certain scenes look. Like Battle of the Five Armies, the color and saturation is way more
Oh
intense
yeah,
than the previous two movies. It's really distracting.
and it's like washed out
Yeah,
almost too, but
yeah, it's
like
almost like they have that like soap opera like Vaseline on the lens kind of
yeah,
thing to it. It's
it's
very weird and everything's so saturated.
yeah, seeing how and also yeah, just see. Oh, plus one thing, even just with that same thing in mind of watching everything back to back and watching it faster,
Right.
seeing Smaug just head directly to Lake Town without having to like change discs or whatever was
Yeah.
it just felt much better. And like I get it was a cliffhanger and everything, and obviously they
Get
had to
people
split
to
the
watch
movies
the
up
third
somewhere.
movie. Yeah.
But for I don't know why it always that break always bothered me. The
Yeah. It
like
it it
two
felt
times I've
terrible.
rewatched.
Yeah, it
But
was yeah, agreed.
but I we have a couple things lined up. First of all, I
Oh,
forgot to
actually
mention.
I do
Oh,
have one more overall note.
yes. What's that?
Yeah. So I just found like this fan cut, I think really, or did I say this at the top of the show? I did. Never mind. It was a thing about how good the good was and how bad the bad was. Like it really highlights those things.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 It does because it's so much shorter. It almost feels like everything has more weight to it,
Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah. It
so
does.
yeah, what you're getting is more precious. And yeah,
Yeah.
uh, seeing stuff that bothers you is just gonna
Yeah, it's
bother you
highlighted.
more.
It's yeah. Anyway, sorry,
Um,
go ahead. We have a couple bits for you guys.
yeah, but we figured we've been probably mostly whining about the Hobbit movies too much for
Yeah.
most of this episode. So, first
Yeah.
of all, I've got a Mad Men of the West.
All right, Mad Men of the West. Let's do it. Still, I
Uh,
promise I'm eventually going to come up with some music to add into that.
just a little diddly-did-did-did-did.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're calling in the Hobbit exterminators.
I'm not sure what that means. Are we going to be do we get rid of the hobbits?
Yeah, wait, no, hang on.
Are you gonna
No,
guess
wait.
bug bomb bag end? What's happening here?
we're not exterminating the hobbits.
Oh, good.
We have exterminators who are hobbits.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
good. That's
yeah,
that's way
they.
better.
I realized watching this back that the only ones we really see kill spiders in all of these movies or deal with them
They're
are
hobbits,
hobbits.
yeah.
In
True.
the movie, the dwarves kill some spiders, I guess, but
Yeah. I mean, in the book, they throw some rocks and presumably kill a few, but like Bilbo does all the heavy lifting.
yeah. And so I figured, if you're gonna call an exterminator, at least hire somebody with some experience. It doesn't seem like anybody else is pulling their weight in Middle Earth trying to deal with all the
Yeah, right.
beasties. So yeah, no, that's it.
Yeah.
We're trying to do some rapid fire bits here, and
Yeah.
I guess Hobbit exterminators aren't a brand, but
They should be.
they definitely should consider their branding though, because I did not even realize before saying that the subject might be unclear there.
Yeah. Do you have an
Uh,
infestation of spiders?
and or
Are you tired?
hobbits.
Yeah. Are you tired of these creepy crawlies ruining your forests and passes of mountains of
Haunting your
shadow? And
passes. Well, that's when you call the Hobbit exterminators. They're
they'll
fun-sized and ready to kill. I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
workshop it. We'll workshop
Yeah.
the catchphrase.
Yeah.
Well, while we're workshopping, why
Yeah.
don't we cast it into the fire?
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a great idea. Who are we recasting? Who do we think? Which character?
I mean, who else? Bilbo. The
I mean,
casting.
he's the Hobbit of the
Yeah.
Hobbit. So yeah, it makes sense.
The casting in the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit was questionable at best. So we gotta figure.
That's everyone's gripe
out.
about both of those movies. The casting sucked.
Yes, not like, forget that I just said that I loved basically every casting choice for this movie.
Yeah,
I don't love Bilbo's.
No. Yeah, no.
So
Martin Freeman was incredible.
No,
Martin Freeman he was great. But if we're gonna recast him,
yeah, who would you pick for recasting?
Well, I have one. I've two serious ones and one silly one. My silly one is Johnny Depp. Just slightly drunken Bilbo, I think.
Just do like a
very amusing.
I
don't think he would be good. Yeah, he wouldn't be good, I don't think, but he would be entertaining.
It would be a take. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we need to get this out of the way. In case you hadn't listened to our other episode, Luis Guzman.
God damn it! You stole my serious one.
Really? That was your serious one.
Luis Guzman. It's always Luis Guzman.
Actually, like, of all the roles, I feel like we should come up with a rating for every role, and like Luis Guzman's sort of compatibility with it.
So it gets like what?
Like out of
5 Guzmans?
Like out of 10. I feel like he has a good amount of range. I feel like this one's like a solid like 7 or 8.
Yeah, actually, I mean, it would be ridiculous, but I do think he would do a good job, like as good of a job as he could. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Bilbo is one of his angles, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
If we're gonna cast Luis Guzman in the Legendarium somewhere, Bilbo's not a bad shout.
Yeah. So this one gets a 7 on the Guzmandar.
Yeah, 7 out of 10 Guzmans. Yeah,
7 out of 10 Guzmans on the Guzman scale. I need to just iron out exactly how to pronounce his name if we're going to continue this bit.
I believe it's Guzman, Luis Guzman.
Yeah, Luis Guzman.
I'm pretty sure it's correct.
I do want to just double check.
What's the nice thing about like Spanish words and even names? It's like, yeah, you pronounce them how they're written for the most part. Yeah, as long as you know how to pronounce like letters in Spanish.
Not like stupid English.
Not dumb English.
All right, so I apologize for taking one of your serious ones.
So you took the last one I was going to say.
I'll offer one in return.
All right.
How does Anthony Hopkins strike you?
Well, you know what's funny? I just read an article the other day. Anthony Hopkins was considered for Gandalf in Lord of the Rings. The number one consideration was Sean Connery, which would have sucked, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think
Anthony Hopkins would have been a great Gandalf, though. Yeah, I think look, Ian McKellen is amazing.
Hard to not see him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he did such an incredible job as Gandalf. But if not him, yeah, Anthony Hopkins would have been great. A little old to play Bilbo, I think.
Well, not when we, revive his younger clone.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting we have the Madame Tussauds personality matrix and everything.
Yeah, we'll pull him right out of the muzzle and just get him right into Bilbo's role.
Yeah. Yeah, a younger Anthony Hopkins, I think, would do a fabulous Bilbo. Yeah, for sure.
And then he's
a great actor. He probably could play any character in these, honestly.
Yeah, he'd make a great sort of powerful like Eowyn or just anything really.
I think Anthony Hopkins would have made a gorgeous Galadriel or Arwen.
All right, who's your first choice?
So I did have one serious. This is like the most serious one that I had. And by the time this enters the public domain and we're able to do this person would be the right age because he's actually a 1 day younger than me, and that's Daniel Radcliffe. He's a great actor.
Oh, yeah,
he's a great actor, and he would do Bilbo
make a good
great.
Bilbo, I think.
Plus, he's short, so that already helps.
Yeah, he wouldn't. No editing required.
Yeah.
Now that he actually would
a great actor. He would do a great job.
And it
would solidify his
for revival.
Status.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're saving on.
I was going to say by the time it's public domain, again, like he said, he was born on the 23rd of July. I'm the 22nd, and so we'll be the same age. So I could play Bilbo, but assuming that my acting career doesn't ever take off, you get somebody who we know is actually really talented.
I mean, so far it's been meteoric, but who knows?
Yeah. I mean, credit to that guy, because really, like, Harry Potter could have been the worst thing for his acting career. But he's been able to
did all right afterwards. Yeah,
he's been able to break out of that, and he really is an excellent actor. Kudos to the guy. I'm a fan of his.
I got my last pick.
All right, let's hear
Tom
it.
Hanks.
I don't want to go on an adventure.
Yeah, I mean,
it's Tom Hanks.
Precious.
Tom Hanks is great.
I mean, I don't see how he could. You know what the only issue would be is I feel like, and I have nothing to verify this, and I'm sure there are examples of this being false, but I feel like he's just has like a really bad British accent. Like he just can't do it.
I don't imagine. I don't think I've ever seen a movie with him where he's attempted anything but an American accent. So,
well, it could just be an American Bilbo.
Just American Bilbo, yeah. Good
American
got blue
Bilbo
jeans on
in Lake Town.
American Bilbo in Lake Town. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, he's got blue jeans. We already know it's
like definitely blue jeans. What are other American things? He wears a baseball cap.
Jeep Wranglers.
Jeep Wranglers. Yeah.
Yeah. He took the blue jeans from the halls of the Elven King while he was sneaking around.
Because if there's one thing we know wood elves love, it's blue jeans.
Yeah,
they're their blue jeans.
They're the only ones who have the secret and the skill to
make acid
weaving
wash
denim. Yeah, we already know Legolas has it there.
It's awful. I mean, very few humans pull off acid wash jeans, really. All right. Well, maybe elves can. Maybe elves can.
No, we know they can. I mean, look at Orlando Bloom.
They have the bone structure to pull off anything. Yeah.
Yeah, they really do. So I got one last bit, and it's a quick one. It's not even really a bit. It's just an observation. This is a conspiracy unmasked.
Ooh.
No, it's not. It's
that's
it's sort of it's a alleged allegory.
Okay, that works too.
I confused the two. But
they're bits we haven't done as many of, so
I'm starting. They're all jumbling around in my head now, and I'm just starting to lose track. But I just wanted to say that I think Tolkien intended Lobelia Sackville-Baggins to represent Bilbo's dragon.
His own personal dragon.
Yeah, he came back, and he had been ousted from his home, and all his stuff had been stolen.
Yeah, sold. He was declared dead.
I mean, yeah, but
although
he wasn't dead, so it was taken from him wrongfully. So I feel
that
like
is true.
Stealing,
and we all know Lobelia loves silver spoons.
Yeah.
Not the show from the 80s.
Well, we don't know she does.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a reference all the kids are gonna love anyway.
Yeah, I've heard that name like twice.
I've never seen this show. The only thing I know about it is that the guy who plays Will's cousin on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Alfonso Ribeiro, is in it. That's the only thing I know about it. The Carlton. That's the only thing I know about that show. Anyway,
okay. Well, fun
random tangent.
Another fun
reference.
Tangent.
Yeah, all the Zoomers are really going to love that reference.
But yeah, I think Lobelia Sackville Baggins is a dragon who is redeemed at the end of Lord of the Rings.
She is. I actually really love that her arc there. It's very
yeah,
sweet.
It is. She's honestly the nicest dragon, but still fierce.
Yeah, and still a dragon. So
yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
I'm glad. Never mind. I was gonna say I'm glad they slayed her, but for some reason that feels mean, even though
it does feel mean, even though she herself is quite mean. Yeah,
she's mean and awful for most of the books, and she's a fictional character, but that felt mean. Yeah. All right, so in case you hadn't realized, we didn't do a correction corner at the beginning of this episode, and we're not going to do a fun fact at the end.
No, because this is a special, and the episode that came out the day before this released was recorded many weeks ago, many weeks ago. So
this is a bit of an insert.
Yeah, we can't mess up the continuity. So you'll be hearing the corrections from yesterday's episode in next Thursday. Or the following episode, depending on when you're listening to this.
And where can the people find us, sir?
Yeah, if you yourself have seen this particular fan edit, who's the gentleman who made this fan edit, Sean?
Once again, that was the guy.
Sorry,
it was Dustin Lee.
Dustin Lee. If you've seen this fan edit and you have any thoughts about it, or if you've seen another fan edit that you'd want to recommend to us, you can do so by sending us an email at lordofthewrongspodcast@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Instagram. Our handle is Lord of the Wrongs Podcast.
And make sure to buy your copies if you're gonna.
Yes, if you're gonna download any fan edits of this, you must legally own all 3 Hobbit films.
Yeah,
as detestable as that might seem to you, it is required by law. Otherwise, you are violating copyright, and so don't do that.
Don't do that.
Keep the shit legal, guys. Keep the shit legal.
And we would never do that.
Yeah,
no.
I mean, look, whether you like the Hobbit movies or not, it's not cool to take money out of the hands of the people who worked on it.
Yeah. Also, I would say, just as a final, would you recommend somebody watches this edit?
Yeah, I would recommend it, especially if you have seen all 3 Hobbit films and you wish there was a different version of it.
Yeah.
This is it's a lot closer to the book, and it's overall very well done. Again, at certain points there's only so much you can do because of how they made, what the script was, how the script was written in the first place. But yeah, I'd recommend it.
I would say if you've read the book and you haven't seen the films, I would almost recommend watching this and not even watching the other ones, and just sort of.
But again, you do still have to buy those movies.
Yes, you don't watch them though. Or you can watch them afterwards.
Buy them, just buy them. You don't have to watch them, and then you can legally watch this fan edit. Yeah,
just buy them to flex on Peter Jackson that you can afford to buy his stuff and not even watch it.
Yeah. Teach them a lesson about making better adaptations in the future.
It wasn't his fault.
That whole production was rushed. It was a nightmare production to make, apparently. So it was very rushed, and Anyway, happy Hobbit Day, everybody.
That's that. Happy Hobbit Day, and Namarie.
Namarie. Join us next time for another fantastic episode of your favorite Tolkien podcast.
Wow, I like the bold new closing.
Yeah.
Namarie.
Namarie. We're sticking to it.